All right, shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
First and foremost, we'd like to begin by giving all praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Harakakadash, giving double honors unto the apostles and elders or teachers that surely do well, pushing this doctrine in sincerity and in truth, to the Akim by the hedges and highways, doing the same. We say shalom to you, shalom to the Akwat sitting and listening in silence at home. From their husbands, I say the law, shalom to the speckled foreigners of the Asherala, the elect, shalom, labakarium. Couple brothers here. This is Kowalwa. Right, so we just come in with another, marathon, lesson, just to bring out, some edification by the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yoshai, we having a Yapa experience, trying to, work on brotherly love. And, in the midst of it, we would have conversation. And, we coming up with lessons, the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yoshai, lessons coming up. So, what the first precept?
One lesson, as brother said beautifully, lessons coming up. So one lesson led to another, right? So the lesson we did before this was concerning the fact that the Lord only care about his elect, right? With that lesson led to this lesson here, which is what we discussed in the tabernacle of David, the house of David, that is the elect fall underneath, right? So to open up here at Amos 9, reading at verse 11, right? It says the tabernacle of David at the heading, subheading. It says, in that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof. And I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old. Old. And have a colon here, right? So the next verse supposed to add to this verse.
Complement the other, yeah.
Then what it says here is what? That they may possess the remnant of Edom, and of all the heathen which are called by my name, said the Lord Yahweh Shem Yoshai that do this. And one thing I wanted to point out here is when you read it is called this here, so like the concordance, right? Have a concordance in the midst of the page here. And then go to the Amos 9 and 11, it reads, boot a figure of a deposed dynasty repair its damages, right? So this should take you back to the time in which, Israel was at its finest, right? 40 years under the reign of David, 40 years under the reign of Solomon, right? But David was the man who, do all the dirty work so Solomon could have a smooth running of his kingdom. And if you pay attention, David was the last man in which, underneath the rulership of a man in Israel, the northern and southern kingdom was together, right? It had no infighting between them, right? This was the last established under David, so that is why we are known as the house of David today. Because if you read, is it Zechariah? It concerns raise up the tents of Judah first. Oh, that's what that was. Zechariah 12:7. Zechariah 12:7. Can you read it to me? Zechariah verse 12. Zechariah chapter 12 and verse 7. Yeah. Yahweh also shall save the tents of Judah first. Shall save the tents of Judah first. So Judah, the southern kingdom, Judah, Benjamin, Levi, right? So them would be, restored to the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that the Lord before everybody else. That the glory of the house of David, what the glory of the house of David, right? And the glory of the inhabitants of Jerusalem do not magnify themselves against Judah. Yeah, they do not magnify themselves against Judah. I think the next verse should say, Ephraim shall not. No, I don't. You can get that. Judah shall not vex Ephraim, and Ephraim shall not envy Judah, because that is how it takes place, right? The northern and southern kingdom split. Right? The northern and southern kingdom split, which led to us, having that infighting between each other. But the tabernacle of David being built up today, that would bring what? Reconciliation. It was done through Yahweh's blood.
Just to add quickly, that would tie in beautifully with the Ezekiel, the two sticks joined together, right? So go ahead.
And it is Isaiah 13, and we also Ephraim shall depart.
Right, because it had a lot of fighting between Judah and Ephraim, northern and southern kingdom, right? Since the departure of David, right?
And the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Judah,
right?
and Judah shall not vex thee.
Right. So the tabernacle of David being established would cut that. 2:6 would be what I was trying to say what in John the 10th chapter.
Sheep I have of another fold.
Right. I have sheep I have of another fold which I must bring together to join one with this for redemption. The fold he's talking about currently is what the southern kingdom, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. He went amongst the Jews first, right? And then his blood, which initiated the reconciliation and the whole house of Israel ultimately to the Father, it reconciled who as well, the northern kingdom with the southern kingdom grafted in. Yeah, check it out. So, yeah, I'll also here because they say what? Key point that they may possess the remnant of Edom, right? There is Jeremiah 16 and from verses 14. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that it shall no more be said, Yahweh liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But Yahweh liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, these North Americans being now, and from all the lands whither he had driven them. Matthew 24, gathered together his elect from the four winds. And I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers. Behold, I will send for many fishers, I will make you fishers of men, said Yahweh, and they shall fish them. And after will I send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill, and out of the holes of the rock. So what? The fishers, teachers, originally of the household of David that was risen became hunters. So what the tabernacle of David in these times is manifested as what? When you read First Samuel 23, where it talk about David mighty men, originally, no, I believe in Second Samuel 23, right, from verses 8 again, they saw David mighty men and a lot of the mighty acts he did. Originally, the first house of David that was built was what? Built on blood, built on war, built on violence. The second temple was rebuilt, and then what? Yahweh spoke about the third temple he had to build, right? And then in Second Peter it speaks about what? Ye are lively stones. What? This temple, this third temple we're speaking about is now a spiritual temple. Before it was built on blood, violence, and worship. But you know what? The weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through power to the pulling down of strongholds. Now in these times, you ain't seeing mighty men walking around. Men who can lick down a tongue behind themselves. No, you see. Not to cut him, so like that. 1 Corinthians 1 and 26 to 29. Right? So like that. I don't know. Yeah, but while again it was, you're not seeing mighty men walking on the place these days who go and kill 1,000 men by themselves. No, it's not time for that yet. Right now it's time for teaching. Right now the killing not going on is a spiritual killing. Lord willing, he's a part of that number. Lord willing, he's a part of the household of David. Spiritually, we do what? We bringing down anything that exalts itself against this word, this doctrine, and we God. But go ahead. Just a back up here saying, 1 Corinthians 1 and 26, for ye see your calling, brethren, how that not many wise men after the flesh, not many mighty, not many noble are called, but power had chosen the foolish things of the world to conform the wise, and power had chosen the weak things of the world to conform the things which are mighty.
So, keep reading.
Verse 28, and the base things of the world and the things which are despised have power chosen, and things which are not, to bring to naught things that are, that no flesh should glory in his presence.
Because what? When David was here, he was the king of Israel. Never see David go upon a high horse. David was always humble in his spirit. The Lord, David know at any point in time, the Lord could have bring him down. David know the Lord should have bring him down because David know he do a wicked act, but what? The Lord ultimately show him mercy. So David know I should never be, or say, high and mighty in my mind. I should be nothing. I could have been nothing, but what? Ultimately, because of the Lord, my power, I've been shown forgiveness. That makes me sad. That makes me I should be glad and hopeful that is a part of the house of David, because what? The scripture says, what the house of David waxed strong and his house of Saul. What Saul was not shown that David was shown was what? Forgiveness and repentance of sin. The scripture talk about what he showed mercies of David, which the whole household would receive. Exactly.
So then in these times here, be careful, Akim, because men who might be coming and thinking that that you would want to be considered a part of the elect of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai and seeking that preeminence. How are you supposed to know that you experiencing the sure mercies of David? How? He's not David. Obviously, you ain't gonna think that he is David. But you want to count yourself as one of the men of David, one of the mighty men. And you want to be walking with the sure mercies of David. The sure mercies of David not sure to you. You're not even sure that he is an elect. You're not even sure that you're part of the house of David. You're sure that you have Yasharala. So what are you about to shy? The Spirit speaketh expressly, right? So what are you about to shy? Wow. I get a phone call there, but it cut off quickly to what I about to shy. So when you understand the sure mercies of David, you say it beautifully. How you gonna know? These men is men that will be walking a particular way. Humbly. The servant not greater than the master. Go ahead, Akim.
I know piece of that there to close it for you.
Can go ahead, close here.
In book of Luke chapter 1, I read from verse 31. Yeah, so I read from verse 30. Luke 1 and 30. And the angel said unto her, Fear not, Mary, for thou hast found favor with power. And behold, thou shalt conceive in thy womb, and bring forth a son, and shalt call his name Yahushai. He shall be great, and shall be called the Son of the Highest. And the Lord Yahweh power shall give unto him the throne of his father David, and shall reign over the house of Jacob forever, and of his kingdom there shall be no end. So that is house which you want to be a part of. So that the house of Saul guaranteed to fall. What is was, and what is was, and what was shall be. And there's nothing new under the sun. So definitely you also need to go with it. And I hope you are part of that one inside. So with that, let's give all glory, all honor, and all praises unto
Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Rakakadash.
Give double honors, double unto the apostles and elders of great millstone who surely do rule well. To the men standing by the highways and byways pushing this doctrine, we like to say shalom.
Shalom.
And even unto the sincere aqua, the sisters who sit listen these lessons in silence, subjection, and obedience unto their husbands, we like to say shalom.
Shalom.
Until next time we say shalom.
Shalom.